On the question of missing telegrams.
I must caution you, sir.
Very well. Telegrams that are alleged to have been withheld from this inquiry.
Mr. Labouchere, the business of this inquiry is to assess the evidence, not to indulge in gossip. I will have all references to missing telegrams, alleged or otherwise, struck from the record. Mr. Rhodes, if you would kindly proceed with your statement.
Thank you. Acting within my rights, I placed on territory, under the administration of my company, a body of troops under Dr. Jamison, prepared to act in the Transvaal in case of eventuality.
Just a moment. Acting within my rights. What do you mean by that?
It means I had the right to put him there.
As Prime Minister of the Cape?
If you like.
I gave you the right, did it?
Mr. Labouchere, I fail to see the point of this line.
Presumably, the Prime Minister of the Cape stands in confidential relations with the Governor of the Cape, who in his turn enjoys confidential relations with the Colonial Office, who appointed him.
No.
What, are you suggesting that Sir Hercules Robinson was not appointed by the Colonial Office?
Of course not. I meant that I did not confide in Sir Hercules.
So you were not acting within your rights as Prime Minister when you placed those troops on the Bechuanaland border?
My company had bought the territory.
I see. You were exercising your right as chairman of the chartered company.
Exactly.
Who must obtain the consent of his directors.
No.
What?
Not the chartered company. My rights as myself. No one, none of the other directors was party to this.
None of them?
No.
Lord Gifford, you had no communication with him?
No, with none of them.
Really? May I return to the question of Sir Hercules Robinson?
Mr. Labouchere, the witnesses stated quite plainly that the Governor-General...
A copy of a telegram which did not go missing.
Mr. Labouchere...
It's dated December 21st, and it reads, "Please inform Mr. C.J. Rhodes that definite assurance must be given that on the day of flotation, he and the chairman will leave for Johannesburg." Now, who was this chairman who would accompany you to Johannesburg on the day of the insurrection? Was it by any chance Sir Hercules Robinson? And if not, who was it?
May I have time to consider my response? I had no idea that this telegram was to be presented in evidence.
But it's your telegram. It's addressed to you.
Addressed to my company, chartered to Cape Town.
Please inform Mr. C.J. Rhodes. It's stated. It's for you.
So, it's 10 to 3. If it would please the committee, I would like time to consider my answer.
Who is this chairman?
You mean you'd rather answer it on another day?
Yes. If it would please you, that is what I meant.
I certainly have no objection. If the other members of my committee...
Who is this chairman?
Mr. Labouchere!
Well, this is a turn-up. 4 months for an act of war against a friendly state. My God, Jim, you look terrible.
What's the matter? It's a public inquiry. Everything's coming into the open. Your chums won't be able to keep the ring much longer.
Public fiddlesticks. It's theatre. It's pure theatre, and everybody's playing a part, just as you're playing a part in the very last scene, the denouement. Her Majesty's government, blameless. The Colonial Office, blameless. The Times, blameless. My fellow directors, blameless. Chartered keeps Rhodesia, and you and I get a smack on the bottom.
And Labouchere?
Men like him are a sort of public penance, a stone in the shoe, something deliberately nasty and uncomfortable to remind the British public that they're really jolly, pious fellows with the highest ideals of liberty and free speech, but they don't wear the stone next to their hearts. That's where you are, Jim. Close to the heart of the British public. You're a hero. Believe me, next time we move against the Transvaal, it'll be out in the open and with the whole of Britain behind us. So don't tell me the show's over, because I'm just getting into my stride, and I'm taking you with me. Barotseland. 650,000 square miles north of the Zambezi. I have the rights, scraps of paper, and my railway, till it straddles the continent from Cape to Cairo. But scholarships! I haven't told you about the scholarships. Immortality, Jim. So my ideals may live after me from generation to generation. And the Parliament? Cape Parliament? I'm forming a new party to fight the next election.
Rhodes, you can't hope to...
I can. I will. And I'll be back as PM.
You've lost the Cape Boers forever. They won't touch you.
No, but the blacks will.
The blacks?
Yes. My party will be called the Progressive Party.
Rhodes, for 15 years, you fought and fought to get the blacks off the electoral roll. Equal rights, yes, but for white men.
No. Equal rights for civilized men. I shall fight under that slogan.
And what, in the name of God, is a civilized man?
Well, he's some man, whether white or black, who has sufficient education to write his own name. Has some property, or works. In fact, isn't a loafer. Houseboy of mine. How are you, Christmas?
A missionary kafir.
We human atoms may divide this great continent, but nature does not. And the Almighty does not. And by the laws of God and nature, men like Kruger will be swept aside. Future is clear. We shall be one. A federation of Rhodesia and South Africa. One great nation from the Cape to the African lakes.
The talk is of unity. The intention is war. And behind him stands a British government who he has so debased and corrupted that he now boasts of schemes in the daylight, where once he only hinted at them in the dark. Ladies and gentlemen, there will be many victims in a war against Kruger, but only one victor. Capital!
There are those who represent me as the embodiment of all evil.
who impute the worst acts and motives. I speak, of course, of Mr. Merriman and his Boer cronies. An unholy alliance, if ever there was one. Well, ask yourselves this. What have Mr. Merriman and the Boers ever done for you?
Miss Rhodes?
You beat us?
It's by only 1 seat, sir. He'd like to see you. He's here, sir, in the drawing room.
Come to gloat?
Gloat? There's nothing to gloat about. We've divided the country up the middle. Rhodes, I plan to see Kruger personally. I am pleading with you to use your influence on the other side.
What side? What the devil are you talking about?
The British. The people, the government, the British press.
I will not compromise on matters of principle. 4 out of 5 men in that miserable little republic are denied the vote because Kruger calls them foreigners.
You can't expect him to give up his land at a stroke. We have to gain his trust. We have to give him time.
I haven't got time.
Have you once thought of the consequences of war? Well, have you?
Yes. Men who are bursting with riches will grow even richer. Isn't that the way you put it? See yourself out, Merriman.
What a waste. What an appalling waste. Have you once considered what you were given? Oh, brilliant mind, of course. But more than that, much, much more. The power over men's imagination, no matter what his color or creed. And when you go, what will you leave behind you? A land where whites are divided against blacks and against themselves. What have you done, Rhodes?
Bloody woman, what the blazes is she doing here? Madam, you will leave my property at once, or I'll have you arrested for trespassing.
Mr. Rhodes, please may we talk privately?
No, I have nothing to say to you.
Very well. Then you should know that certain stolen documents have recently fallen into my hands. Documents that could seriously compromise persons in high positions in this country and in England.
What documents?
Telegrams.
Are the recipient's and author's name?
Oh, yes. And such curious names. Zebra Wood, Zalbar, the chairman.
Madam, you will hand over those documents at once, or I'll have you arrested for receiving stolen property.
Arrested and presumably tried. A public trial in which these telegrams will be the principal exhibit. Otherwise, there'd be no case.
How much?
I beg your pardon.
Name your price.
I don't want your money.
Well, what then?
You, taking your next great strides forward with me beside you, healing the bitter divisions that divide this nation and marching forward together, forward into Africa.
You will blackmail me in order to become my...
Your helpmate, your empress of Africa.
You are mad.
If you refuse me, I will publish.
Where? Newspapers?
Of course.
You're wasting your time. With the war on, nobody would touch them. And if you tried to peddle them, you'd be arrested for treason.
No one has yet declared war, Mr. Rhodes.
Dis ultimatum van die Engelse government. Disarm your country. Grant home rule to Johannesburg. Repeal every law you've passed in the last 18 years. En sê vir ons moet ons land weggee.
Your pass, sir? Yours too, sir. Sir, your pass. This is a military zone.
Officer, don't you realize who you're speaking to?
I'm sorry, sir, but no one may enter De Beers without a pass.
I am De Beers.
Mr. Rhodes. Colonel Cavendish.
How you doing?
Captain O'Meara.
Made yourself at home, I see. Well, Colonel, in taking a look at some of your defences, I must say they leave a lot to be desired, particularly the artillery.
We're well supplied with 7-pounders.
Pea shooters. Boers have got 9s and 15s. We'll have to make our own. Got the machine shops, got the engineers, and I'm planning a little volunteer force of my own. 2,000 to begin with. Got the arms, got the ammunition. Left over from an earlier caper.
Mr. Rhodes, I must ask you to consider very carefully whether you were wise to return to Kimberley.
What?
Now, if you'll take my advice, sir, you'll go back to Cape Town while you still have the chance.
Is he off his head?
Mr. Rhodes, your presence here is putting the townspeople at considerable risk. A large Boer force has already crossed the Free State border. Now, what a surprise if they could capture Mr. Rhodes.
You! Call yourself an officer of an empire-building nation! And you're quaking in your boots at the thought of a few farmers!
Kruger has promised his people that you'll be paraded through the streets of Pretoria in a lion's cage.
My word. I never thought I'd see a British officer giving credence to the mutterings of a senile old peasant. Give it up, man. Give it up.
Very good. Johnny, you got through. Oh, God, am I glad to see you, boy. Sit down.
I'll get you something to eat, Boss John.
Yeah, yes, of course. What's the news?
Did you hear about Ladysmith?
No, nothing's getting through.
Totally surrounded with poor old Dr. Jim in the middle.
Jim will fight his way out. Don't you worry about him.
What good will it do him? The Boers are everywhere. It's a complete balls up. The British Army's getting thrashed. 18th Hussars surrendered to a man, and then the Boers walked into Dundee without a scrap. And 3 months' worth of arms and grub waiting for them when they get there, courtesy of the British Army. The Boers will reach the coast by Christmas.
Unbelievable.
God knows when you'll get any help here. If I was you, I would dig in for a very long wait.
Mr. Rhodes, sir.
How dare you issue me with a summons?
I've received a dispatch from the Commander-in-Chief, British Forces in South Africa. Civilians in Kimberley, representing situation as extremely serious, have heard nothing about this from you. Send appraisal immediately.
Well?
Mr. Rhodes, have you been sending your own runners through Boer lines?
If you and your staff have neither the wit nor the judgment...
All messages, do you understand, sir? All messages will go through the military authorities. The situation is not serious, and the town is perfectly capable of defending itself. There are more important priorities in this war than the resumption of mining operations at De Beers.
Well, we'll see, shall we? Whether the British High Command pays more attention to my judgment or the judgment of some office boy.
Get out. Whoever you are, get out.
Heard you'd had a spot of trouble finding accommodation. I must say, didn't expect this. Captain Widdowson, Your Highness, Chief of the Governor-General's Criminal Investigation Department.
Chief of the CID. Oh my, the fish are jumping. Your warrant, please.
Martial law, Your Highness. Act of 1878, Clause 43, subsection 6. Investigations into the activities of a suspected enemy agent. Anybody told you what we do to Boer agents?
Boer agents?
Very chummy with 1 or 2 of their leaders and sympathizers, aren't we?
You can't frighten me.
Not my intention, Your Highness, no. I'd hate to see you frightened. Really frightened. And what I'd like is to see you back at the Mount Nelson. Heroes welcome, reception at Government House, tidy little reward. I'm serious. It's in my power. If I get those papers.
What papers?
You know what I want.
Telegrams? I'm sorry, I don't have them.
Then where are they?
Lodged with the Russian consul. In a sealed envelope, of course, but marked with clear instructions as to their use and distribution should anything untoward occur. But there might be a way to force my hand. Arrest me. Then you would have the legal right to subpoena those telegrams and use them as material evidence against me in a trial. A public trial. An open trial.
Military offences aren't tried in an open court, Your Highness.
Oh, then nothing would be gained by my arrest. Except, of course, some unwelcome initiatives on part of the Russian consul.
Don't count on that.
But you've made it perfectly clear. In order to achieve an open trial, I have to commit a civil offense. So that's it, Mr. Widdowson. To get what I want, I shall have to turn to crime.
Northumberland Fusiliers. They've set up camp here. The farm Clockfontaine, 50 miles south-southeast.
Why, sir?
Because Army High Command has decided, in its infinite wisdom, that the interests of Mr. Rhodes override all other concerns in the conduct of this war. We should expect relief within 48 hours. Nothing from them since Clockfontaine.
If you ever do succeed in making contact, Colonel, I'd be obliged if you'd send the following message. Rhodes despairs of jackasses running the...
Have you finished, Mr. Rhodes?
Message continues running the British Army.
Have you finished, Mr. Rhodes?
No, I haven't finished. Has decided to send his own runners to Cape Town, who will recruit 2,000 volunteers to do the Army's job for them. Did you get that?
Yes, I did. Thank you, Mr. Rhodes.
You're welcome.
8,000 men running like a lot of bloody sheep.
We went back, sir. 4 times. But the Boers pinned us down. They were in trenches, sir. And we were on this great plain. No cover, no water, in all that heat. And the ants. Eaten alive by ants. But you daren't move, because the moment you did, the machine gunners picked you out.
What a depressing listening.
Thank you.
8 a.m. on the bloody dot, God's sake. Well, you'd better run along. Give glad tidings to the Colonel.
There's no need. Absolutely no need to send that force careering up there.
Our women and children are being slaughtered! Buildings fired! We'll see what the people of Kimberley have to say about that.
Kindly remember that Kimberley remains under martial law until the British Army relieves the town. And I will not hesitate to arrest and imprison anybody who endangers the military situation. Damn it! Come back here, Rhodes! You disgust me, sir. You disgust me. Egotism and greed. Monstrous greed hiding behind a thin mask of patriotism.
General friend, Mr. Rhodes, I must congratulate you. Though I hardly expected the British Army to be held at bay for 4 months by a handful of peasants.
Her Majesty's government and Her Majesty's subjects are keenly aware of what you've had to endure.
Ah, yes. We are women and children. Still, we have the proud satisfaction of knowing that we have done our best to preserve the greatest commercial asset in the world. Her Majesty's flag. You come in, General. You must be thirsty.
£1,000.
Repayable by January the 31st.
And what do you propose to offer by way of security?
In the unlikely event that I am unable to repay the debt, you shall have this as a personal guarantee.
Mr. Rhodes. How do I know the signature's genuine?
Oh, that is a very ungracious question, sir. But if you don't trust me, I suggest you have it verified at his bank.
You wouldn't object?
I'd be delighted.
Well, bring her here!
What can you possibly hope to gain?
You know my answer.
Blackmail, now forgery to ensnare a partner. It's the logic of the mad.
But the logic of the mad gains the status of genius when it achieves the aim. Isn't that the lesson of your life?
Whatever you do, I would never, never allow you to play any part in my life.
You will. When they call for evidence at my trial. A public trial, out in the open, and there'll be nothing you can do to stop it.
You wouldn't put yourself through that. You'd be dragged through the mud. You'll be an outcast for the rest of your life. You're overwrought. Too many pressures. I understand. I'm still willing to pay your passage back to England and a lump sum. You'll destroy yourself.
No. If that is the course you wish to pursue, then rather say, we will destroy each other.
£4,500? A great deal of money, Your Highness.
To some.
I'm afraid it will be necessary to authenticate the signature, if you wouldn't object.
Of course not. Take it to the chartered company. Take it to his bank. Take it to Mr. Rhodes himself. I am sure you will find a host of people only too eager to swear that this is not a forgery.
Jim, you're splendid. Splendid. Ladysmith, toast to the British Empire.
Yes, we finally got the Boers on the run. My God, Rhodes, you must get some rest.
Rest? I don't need rest. I'm a boy. Never felt better. Need a private word, Jim.
Hit her. Hit her with everything you've got.
No. It's precisely what she wants. A court case, publicity. I can't do that.
How much has she cashed?
24,000. 24? It's nothing, Jim. It's nothing. Compared to the risks involved.
You can't let her get away with this.
Oh, nothing rash, Jim, please. Nothing rash.
You must do something.
A forgery? That is a monstrous allegation. Was it his bank?
Didn't you see yesterday's Argus?
I don't bother with the local papers.
This announcement appears on the front page. It is headed, Mr. Rhodes, a warning, his signature forged.
Go on.
We understand attempts have been made to negotiate certain promissory notes purporting to have been endorsed by Mr. Cecil Rhodes. We are requested to say that if any such instruments are in circulation, they are forgeries.
And who is credited with this announcement?
No name is given, but as I'm sure you are aware, Mr. Rhodes is the proprietor of the Argus. We took the precaution of speaking to the editor.
Who left you in no doubt that Mr. Rhodes himself authorized this calumny?
No doubt at all.
Very well. I shall issue a summons. I shall take him to court where he will be sued for gross deception and the public humiliation of a woman who has fought his battles and been his friend.
Shouldn't have done it, Jim. Shouldn't have done it.
She had to be stopped.
You gave her an opening with your damned advertisement. Can't stop her now.
Of course you can. Go the whole way. Prosecute her for forgery. Hit her so hard she reels.
Can't you see? This is exactly what she wants. A court case. It's an opportunity to present the telegrams.
She won't get it. Inadmissible evidence. The case turns on forgery. We're not hitting her for theft.
It's too risky. You don't have to respond to that summons. Not in your condition. All it needs is a letter from Jim.
You must strike now. Only weakens your case if you dither.
For God's sake, man. You're his doctor.
Mrs. Radziwill,
Yes.
we have a warrant for your arrest. You're charged with the offense of forgery and of uttering a forged document. I must caution you that whatever you say may be used against you.
Yes, yes. Would you be kind enough, please, to take my suitcase? Thank you. Well, they should smoke him out.
Owing to the very serious condition of the health of the chief witness, the case will be postponed until further notice.
And application for bail?
Bail is granted, Mr. Mackay.
I won't accept.
What?
Postponement.
Madam, Mr. Rhodes is seriously ill. He's been confined to Crutascure by orders of his doctor.
Then hold the trial there, in his bedroom if necessary.
Mr. Rhodes, are you prepared to take the oath? Oh, please remain seated, Mr. Rhodes.
You place your hand on the Bible and say after me. I promise to tell the truth.
I promise to tell the truth.
The whole truth and nothing but the truth.
The whole truth, nothing but the truth.
So help me God.
You God. Thank you, Mr. Rhodes. Mr. Mackay, your witness, please.
Mr. Rhodes, I have here a promissory note dated July 3rd, 1901, which reads as follows. On September 23rd, I promised to pay the Princess Catherine Radziwill, on order, £2,000 for value received at Crutascure. It is signed, C.J. Rhodes. Would you tell us whether this is indeed your signature?
No, it is not.
And this. And this. And this.
Forgeries, all forgeries. I signed no promissory notes.
I suggest you take a look at the documents, Mr. Rhodes.
All of them absolute forgeries.
No, not until he has answered my questions. I have documents here that I wish to place before the court. No, I will not be prevented from submitting my evidence. I will not be
Eat.
Is everything ready?
Yes.
We'll wait until the evening when it's cooler.
Still there.
Yes.
Why can't that woman leave me in peace? Turn me over, Jack.
He's passed away.
What were his last words, Doctor?
So much to do, so little done.
The Boer War continued for 2 months after Rhodes' death. It is estimated, though it cannot be confirmed, that 7,000 Boers died in the fighting, while 28,000 of their women and children died in British concentration camps. No figure has ever been given for black casualties. Princess Radziwill was sentenced to 2 years in prison and served 16 months. She died in St. Clair's Hospital, West 51st Street, New York, in May 1941, aged 84. The stolen telegrams were never recovered. On Rhodes' death, all his papers relating to the Jameson raid were destroyed. Alfred Beit survived Rhodes by only 4 years. He was never married, and the bulk of his vast fortune was left to charity. In the first elections to be held after the Boer defeat, Dr. Jameson led Rhodes' Progressive Party to victory in the Cape and was appointed Prime Minister. In 1910, Rhodes' dream was realized. Cape Colony, Natal, and the Boer republics of the Free State and the Transvaal were welded into a single nation, the Union of South Africa. John Merriman succeeded Jameson as the Prime Minister of the Cape. He was considered the only candidate for the premiership of the new nation acceptable to black South Africans as well as the Boers, but was passed over by Lord Gladstone. Harry Curry resigned from Parliament in disgust and never resumed his political career. He died in 1945, aged 83. 35 years later, after a long and bitter struggle, the people of Mashonaland and Matabeleland won their independence, and the nation of Zimbabwe was born. In 1994, Nelson Mandela became the first democratically elected president of a non-racial South Africa. He was also the first head of state not to reside in Groote Schuur, the home that Rhodes had created for himself at the foot of Table Mountain.